Stock futures a little changed as Wall Street awaits results of midterm elections, CNBC. Stocks have climbed for 3 straight days ahead of the midterm elections. Stock futures were flat on Tuesday evening as polls began to close in the United States midterm elections. Futures for the Nasdaq 100 were up 0.4%, while S&P Page 500 futures gained 0.2%. Dow futures plus 1380 CHARS. Laguna Beach's Talon Torriero reacts to Lauren Conrad and Kristen Cavallari's confession. News. Talon Torriero shared his thoughts on Lauren Conrad and Kristen Cavallari, both admitting that they were hooking up with him during their love triangle with Stephen Colletti on Laguna Beach. Talon Torriero is going back to the beginning to give his reaction to the latest Laguna Beach confession. Talon hilariously responded to Kristen Cavallari and Lauren Conrad's admission that they were plus 894 CHARS. Polls close in key state where Trump's election deniers top the ticket, CNN. Polls are closed in Arizona, where all 4 GOP nominees at the top of the ticket, for governor, Senate, Attorney General and Secretary of State, have echoed former President Donald Trump's lies about the 2020 election. Polls are closed in Arizona, where all 4 GOP nominees at the top of the ticket for governor, Senate, Attorney General and Secretary of State have echoed former President Donald Trump's lies about T plus 10128 CHARS. The doctors prescribing blue therapy, BBC. 10 years after researchers first found that blue spaces could be good for us. The concept is proving to be a powerful, practical tool for mental health. But many experts now believe blue spaces, such as lakes and rivers, could be even more beneficial than green ones. Blue spaces provide us with distractions that take our mind away from the day-to-day. Plus 2782 CHARS. NASA's Artemis I mission delayed again as storm barrels toward launch site, CNN. The NASA Space Launch System rocket is facing a battering from Tropical Storm Nicole, which is now expected to strengthen into a hurricane before it slams into Florida's east coast. Sign up for CNN's Wonder Theory Science newsletter. Explore the universe with news on fascinating discoveries, scientific advancements and more. The Artemis I mission, which is expected to send an plus 4847 CHARS. MLB-LSEQGM Meetings 2022. Live updates. Trades. Rumors on top free agents. New York Post. Follow the New York Post's live coverage as the MLB-LSEQGM meetings kick off the off-season hot stove. Stay updated with news, trades and rumors surrounding the biggest free agents. No rest for the weary. Milwaukee's long season just ended on Saturday night with the Astros defeating the Phillies in the World Series. But the business of baseball is about to kick into high gear. The 2 plus 443 CHARS. Patches for 60 days under active exploit are now available from Microsoft, Ars Technica, Exchange, Windows, and a bunch of other Microsoft software, all affected. 3 with 3 posters participating. It's the second Tuesday of the month. And that means it's Update Tuesday, the monthly release of security patches available for nearly all software Microsoft supports. T plus 2955 CHARS. Elon Musk sells almost $4 billion of Tesla stock after Twitter takeover. The Wall Street Journal. The 19.5 million shares sold this month follows earlier sales in April and August. Null. Harvey Weinstein's LA rape trial hears he used the pseudonym, Max Poster, to check into hotel. Daily Mail. Harvey Weinstein apparently used the pseudonym, Max Poster, to check into the Montage Hotel the night he is accused of masturbating on an aspiring actress. Harvey Weinstein apparently used the pseudonym, Max Poster, to check into the Montage Hotel the night he is accused of masturbating on an aspiring actress. And a model says cops gave her a wire to wee. Plus 13946 chars. Stock futures a little changed as Wall Street awaits results of midterm elections. CNBC. Stocks have climbed for 3 straight days ahead of the midterm elections. Stock futures were flat on Tuesday evening as polls began to close in the United States midterm elections. Futures for the Nasdaq 100 were up 0.4%, while S&P Page 500 futures gained 0.2%. Dow futures plus 1380 chars. Local doc on new study on Paxlovid, WCVB Channel 5 Boston. Dr. Todd Ellerin of South Shore Health discusses new study about the results of using Paxlovid in high-risk patients. Subscribe to WCVB on YouTube now for more. Null. Photos. November's total lunar eclipse. CNN. The moon turned a coppery shade of red Tuesday during the second total lunar eclipse of the year. The moon turned a coppery shade of red Tuesday during the second total lunar eclipse of the year. The eclipse began at 3:02 a.m. Eastern Time and ended at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Time. At totality, the stage at which the ENT plus 280 chars. College football playoff rankings. Georgia takes over No. 1 as Michigan. TCU step up in top 25 CBS Sports. The second top 25 rankings of the 2022 season have arrived from the CFP Selection Committee. The second edition of the college football playoff rankings was released Tuesday night with reigning national champion Georgia taking over the No. 1 spot coming off its decisive win over previously T. plus 5065 chars. Nintendo has no plans to increase Switch prices. For now. Kotaku. With Sony rising prices and Microsoft looking to follow, Nintendo remains the outlier. In its latest earnings briefing, Nintendo continues to say it has no plans to raise prices on its popular Switch console, though it also doesn't rule out the possibility that it might have to increase. Plus 2013 chars. Kohl's CEO Michelle Gass resigns to join Levi Strauss, The Wall Street Journal. Retail veteran, who has been under pressure from activist investors to eventually become Jeansmaker's CEO. Null. This is not a drill. Emily Ratajkowski is calling all single guys to slide into her DMs right now. Yahoo Life. Emily Ratajkowski is flaunting her post-breakup glow and is ready to mingle. The model, 31, just shared a comical and sultry TikTok video over the weekend in. Emily Ratajkowski is flaunting her post-breakup glow and is ready to mingle. The model, 31, just shared a comical and sultry TikTok video over the weekend in which she is seen dancing on the Street a +3683 Chars. Joy Reid. Gen Z Democrat Maxwell Frost's House win, hope for the future, in Florida, MSNBC. Democrat Maxwell Frost is the projected midterms winner of Florida's 10th district, making him the first General Z person to be elected to Congress. MSNBC's Joy Null. A doctor says RSV surge in kids is 1,000 times worse than you imagine. Yahoo News. As respiratory viruses like RSV surge among young kids in the U.S., pediatric hospitals are swamped with a deluge of patients filling up waiting rooms, and as respiratory viruses like RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, surge among young kids across the United States, many children's hospitals are overwhelmed by a deluge of patients filling up emergency R+7075 Chars. James Webb Space Telescope's super-cold camera bounces back from glitch, Space.com. MIRI will soon observe Saturn's polar regions. The James Webb Space Telescope's super-cold camera MIRI is back in full science mode after a technical problem on its grating wheel forced scientists to halt some observations. The grating wheel on +3229 Chars. Sources: Bruins have limited options with under contract Mitchell Miller. ESPN. Mitchell Miller remains under contract with the Bruins and is technically still a member of their AHL affiliate. NHL sources told ESPN that there are a few ways to address this situation for the Bruins. The Boston Bruins have limited options with Mitchell Miller, the defenseman they signed Friday and cut ties with 2 days later in the wake of public outcry. The Bruins signed Miller, 20, to an entrance +2047 Chars. iOS 16.2 to introduce custom accessibility mode with streamlined experience for iPhone and iPad. 9 to 5 Mac. Apple on Tuesday released iOS 16.2 Beta 2 to developers as the company gets ready to make the update available to the public in December. Officially, it adds the new Freeform collaboration app and improvements to the Home app. Under the hood, 9 to 5 Mac found OU. Apple on Tuesday released iOS 16.2 Beta 2 to developers as the company gets ready to make the update available to the public in December. Officially, it adds the new Freeform collaboration app and IM +3082 Chars. Twitter to offer official label for select verified accounts. The Guardian. Company executive says governments, companies, media outlets and public figures will receive label, which is not for sale. Twitter will introduce an official label for select verified accounts when it launches its new $8 Twitter Blue service. Esther Crawford, the company's early-stage products executive, said on Tuesday, +2451 Chars. Jeff Cook, Alabama co-founder and guitarist, dead at 73. Rolling Stone. The Country Music Hall of Fame member sold more than 75 million albums with bandmates Randy Owen and Teddy Gentry. Jeff Cook, a founding member and lead guitarist of the country group Alabama, died Tuesday at his vacation home in Destin, Florida, after an extended illness. Cook's representative confirmed the deet. +2843 Chars. Ancient Rome. Stunningly preserved bronze statues found in Italy. BBC. The discovery of 24 statues thought to be around 2,300 years old may rewrite history. An expert says, Italian archaeologists have unearthed 24 beautifully preserved bronze statues in Tuscany believed to date back to ancient Roman times. The statues were discovered under the muddy ruins of an ancient plus 1494 Chars. Drinking caffeine while pregnant may result in shorter kids. Study. Insider. In a study, children of pregnant women who drank less than the recommended amount of caffeine were shorter than kids of moms who drank no caffeine. Drinking less than the recommended limit of caffeine per day while pregnant could still negatively impact a child's height, according to a new study. The study, published October 31 in the journal O. Plus 2170 Chars. Protective childbirth tattoos found on ancient Egyptian mummies. LiveScience.com. Some ancient Egyptian mothers got tattoos that were likely meant to protect them during childbirth and during the postpartum period. An analysis of their mummies reveals a tattoo on the left hip bone of a mummified Egyptian woman buried at Deir el-Medina. Image credit. Ann Austin, University of Missouri-St. Louis. Lower back tattoos may seem like an early 21st cent. Plus 5182 Chars. Yankees could take another swing at Justin Verlander if he opts out. New York Post. The Yankees loved the idea of importing Justin Verlander last winter, and they offered the right-hander $25 million. The Yankees loved the idea of importing Justin Verlander last winter, and they offered the right-hander $25 million. And while they still like Verlander, what's not to like? They became discouraged. Plus 1732 Chars. Cyberpunk 2077 just got better. Again. GameSpot News. GameSpot. Cyberpunk 2077 has already received some substantial upgrades this year, and now patch 1.61 has been announced for PC, console, and Stadia. Rest in peace. Several fixes for multiple missions will be added, as a number of these gigs had issues where elements weren't being properly triggered inside of the game. Visually, you'll see Night City residents. Plus 1082 Chars.